Hello and welcome to the University of Kentucky's HR Supportive Supervisors series. Today's topic is agreements for thriving. So when we think about thriving, in this case, we're talking about thriving as a person individually, as well as thriving with your team, thriving in the workplace. So when you think about thriving, we're talking about how do you walk in personal freedom? Like how do you thrive? What do you need to thrive? So this is a question I want you to really think about as you are listening into this presentation today. Think about, what do I personally need to thrive? What will help me thrive? What will help my team thrive? What would help me thrive at work? So let's take a look at this quote. Nobody's perfect. We make mistakes. We say wrong things. We do wrong things. We fall. We get up. We learn. We grow. We move on, and we live. That's a lot to think about. As we're trying to thrive, it's so important to remember that nobody is perfect. We all make mistakes. We all do and say wrong things. We fall down. We hopefully get back up. Hopefully we learn as we go and we continue to grow. So as we are thriving, just know that it is a day-by-day effort. So here's some things to think about thriving. So with this presentation today, we're going to talk about thriving kind of big picture and then funnel it down to looking at you as an individual. So thinking about big picture thriving at work, here's some things to keep in mind. Technology in the workplace is always improving, is always growing. And so if you want to thrive in the workplace, you have to make sure that you are open to learning and improving technology. Also, you got to keep in mind, what are the jobs in the future going to require of me? You know, what can I transition into? Knowing what future jobs are asking for, what your current job is turning into or evolving into, can help you thrive in your current job or thrive in future jobs. Also, invest in lifelong learning. You know, we all want to be lifelong learners because we live in a world that's always evolving and changing, workplaces that's always evolving and changing. So if you have the mindset that I am teachable, and I can learn this, I will learn this, then you should be able to thrive in the workplace. Also keep in mind that human skills are always popular. It's always important to have good communication skills, interpersonal skills, develop those leadership skills. It's always important to know how to work with people because people skills are essential. So although there's all this great technology and things are advancing in that way, you always still need to make sure you know how to work with people and get along with people and resolve conflicts, because we're people. We're going to have conflicts. We're going to have disagreements. We're going to have misunderstandings, but you have to know how to resolve them and move forward. So keeping that in mind, the human skills are important. The creative skills, your social cognitive skills, you know, your creativity, just because we're using technology, it doesn't mean creativity is not still important and valued. So just keep that in mind as well. So thriving with your team. When you think about thriving with the team, there's some things to keep in mind. For one, you want to continue to engage with your team and create a routine that works for your team. You want to also create a culture of trust and reliability. You want to set and adjust expectations and goals. You want to plan and stay organized and reprioritize when necessary. You want to listen with care to verbals as well as nonverbals on your team. You want to use technology wisely with your team. You want to be accountable and follow through with promises and tasks and projects. You want to operate in kindness, grace, and self-compassion. So let's break this down a little bit. When you talk about engaging with your team and creating a routine, you know, something as simple as asking a person, how are you doing? How are things going? And not just work related, like, how are you? Are there things that's happening with you? Keep in mind, we all work with people that have work and life responsibilities. And sometimes those life responsibilities could be impacting the work responsibilities. So as you are communicating and asking simple questions like, how are you? How's your family? How are you doing? You might learn that there are some things impacting work that you actually may be able to assist with. And so just kind of keep that in mind. And then of course, as you're engaging with your team, you want to make sure that you have regular meetings, that you have ways that you support your group as a whole, that you support the individuals. You may want to bring in speakers to your meetings on topics that would be beneficial to the team. And it could be interpersonal related topics, it could be team building topics, it could be technology, it could be whatever your team needs. Offer resources as needed, maintain some workplace protocol and expectations, and also learn what are normal reactions to critical incidents. What I mean by that is, for example, if there's changes coming to your department, if there's a move, if there's new equipment, new technology, think about what is the reaction of my team going to be, or what's the reaction of my individuals on the team going to be, and think about how you can assist them and kind of help them through these transitions. And then also be aware of behavior and emotions that are adversely impacting the work performance. So for example, you may have people on the team that tend to say negative things or tend to bring down anything new with their comments, or you may have people that are very upbeat and very teachable and very excited and very like, let's do this, we got this, and they may bring the team up. So just be aware of the different behavior and emotions that could impact your team one way or the other. When you, and of course, creating that culture of trust and reliability is always important. Setting those goals, those expectations. Another point I want to talk about is just using technology wisely. One way to think about this is, although technology is always growing and developing in the workplace, sometimes you have to kind of pace yourself in introducing technologies to your team. So for example, if you are saying now everyone's using Zoom, you may want to stick with Zoom for a little while before you say now everyone's using MS Team. Or, you know, just maybe not pile on so much at once. Give it a little time to grow and develop, and then maybe introduce a new thing. And if you're going to introduce new technology, make sure you provide training, like have team meetings where you review that technology, or do one-on-one sessions or what have you. So just make sure you kind of monitor that. And as always, everyone really depends on people that, and really appreciate when we all are accountable and responsible and follow through. And when I think about this self-compassion and operating in kindness and grace, to me, that's one of the more important things that you can think about when it comes to having a team that's thriving. It's extremely important that you and members on your team are operating in kindness and grace and compassion towards one another and towards themselves. So let's think about self-compassion for supervisors. When you think about supervisors, again, supervisors oftentimes are in a position where they're giving a lot. You're always looking out for everyone else. You're always making sure everyone has what they need. You're always kind of on the front line, so to speak. And then there's a lot of things that as supervisors that you may deal with that your team members may not even know you deal with. And so when you come to being a supervisor, you have to be also mindful that you need self-compassion. You need compassion for yourself. So one way you think about that is, remember, you are impacted as well. So if the team is going through changes, or if something's happening in the workplace or whatever is going on, you are probably impacted as well. If there's deadlines and projects and things like that, you are also impacted. So think about that. Also, keep in mind that maintaining self-care for yourself is really important, and that looks different for different people. Also, we know that self-care is not just something you do after work. It's not just something you do on the weekend. It's not something big like I went to the spa, I got my nails done, my hair cut, you know, things like that. It's not always those types of things, although that's a part of it. Self-care is daily, everyday, all day things. So some examples of that will be, maybe you take a stretch break every hour. Maybe you go for a walk at lunch or in the morning or in the evening. Maybe you call a friend and have a conversation with them for 10 minutes or so just to catch up. Maybe you email someone a nice note. Maybe you just think about, what can I do to maintain my self-care? Maybe you're taking care of your nutrition and so forth. Also, be kind to yourself and take breaks. Create a ritual to transition from work to home. That, especially if you're working remotely, that can be really important. So there's different ways to create that ritual. It could be that you turn your computer off and if it's a laptop, maybe you put it away. You put it away in a closet, or you put it away in a bag or something like that. Or if you have a workspace area, maybe you turn the computer off. You don't leave it on. You turn the monitor off, shall I say. And you make sure there's no notifications popping up and dinging all day, chiming or what have you. Maybe you change your clothes. Maybe you go for a walk. Maybe you contact a person or go to the store or something. Just think of what do I do to transition? Maybe you even put a blanket or something over your workspace. Or if you have a room that you use, maybe you close the door, pull the curtain or something. Just kind of what can I do to transition from work to home? This is part of that kind of telling myself as a supervisor, it's okay to stop. Like I don't have to be on all the time. And then you set that example for your team members as well. When you check out and you say, I'm done, I'm stopping, they know that it's okay for them to do that as well. So engage in non-work hobbies and interests. Hopefully everyone is doing that. And that looks different for everyone. It could be something as simple as maybe you like to draw, or you like to run or walk, or whatever your interests and hobbies are. Maybe you like certain TV shows, maybe you like certain activities, and you are looking for concert opportunities. Whenever we can go back and watch concerts in person. But, just think about what it is you like. I personally really like painting. And so I really enjoy when I can go to painting classes and just be instructed by someone like, here's how you paint. To me, that's pretty relaxing. And I don't do that too often, but I do it from time to time. Also, we like painting so much that we have painting canvases and paint at home. So sometimes I'll just get out a canvas and start painting something random just for fun. But that's one of my things. So exercise regularly, work towards a healthy meal plan. That healthy meal plan, whatever that means for you. I mean, the meal plan is something that, let's just say, for example, you find yourself eating out a lot, you're going through drive-through, and you say, you know what, I'm gonna try to cut that down to once or twice a week only, or one or two meals. So, just moving towards a healthy meal plan and thinking about what you need for yourself, or your body, what gives you energy, what motivates you, so forth. That's different for different people. Also, don't hesitate to reach out for help. So when you talk about reaching out for help, the good thing about the University of Kentucky is that we have lots of wonderful services and resources and benefits that you can take advantage of when you talk about, I'm a supervisor, I'm trying to keep it together for myself and for my team, and I need to show myself some self-compassion. I need to take care of myself. What are some of the resources that's available? So you think about healthy meal plan, the health and wellness, they have nutritionists that you can work with. They can work with you on healthy meal plan. They can talk to you about all kinds of things related to nutrition. They also have the Move Well team that can create a individualized exercise routine for you that you can do at your desk, at home, outside, indoors, what have you. So if that's a goal for you to just exercise more, or just what can I do with whatever existing health conditions you may have. And then of course we have the health coaches that they in their office as well. And then Office of Work Life, we have 4 mental health clinicians that can assist you with any mental health concern, whether it be stress or anxiety or worry over life or family or children or relational issues or what have you. So if you need help, ask for help. Don't hesitate. You're not weak for asking for help. So here's our last slide. This is talking about the 4 agreements. And this is taken from a book by Don Miguel Ruiz. And these agreements, it's a very small book and it's very impactful. If you read it, I encourage you to do so. The book is called The 4 Agreements. And it reminds us that we all live our lives operating out of certain agreements. Some are helpful and some are harmful. If you want to live a life of fulfillment and joy, you have to find the courage to break those agreements that are fear-based and claim your personal power. So what does that mean? We all make agreements. Some are helpful and some are harmful. This makes me think about the growth mindset and a fixed mindset in some ways. So you may have made some agreements that say, for example, harmful agreement, like, I just don't like to exercise. It's not for me. Or I'm not good at learning new things. You may have made that agreement with yourself. So whenever something new pops up, you are already up in arm before you even try it. So that would be a harmful agreement. A helpful agreement could be, I may really like my routine, but you never know. This might be helpful. I may be able to take a few things from this new course or this new way of doing things that can improve the way I do things. So that could be a helpful agreement that I can learn. I like to do better. I want to do the best job possible, and maybe this can help me. And then you think about agreements that come from fear drain us. Really important. Because sometimes you just need to know, oh my gosh, I'm feeling drained. I'm feeling tired. And it may be some fear-based agreements that's popping up. And then agreements that come from love energize us. We want to be energized. So thinking about the agreements that we make, we want to be mindful of things that we kind of tell ourselves. And some, the fear-based ones drain us, and the love-based ones energize us. So when you think about this particular book, it focuses on 4 agreements. 1, be impeccable with your word. 2, don't take anything personally. 3, don't make assumptions. And 4, always do your best. So let's break these down just a little bit. Be impeccable with your word. The book tells us that this is probably the toughest one. Be impeccable with your word, because everyone really appreciates when people follow through and their word means something. We all love people that when they say they're going to do it, you can bank on it. They're going to do it. So be impeccable with your word is not only great for you, but it's great as you are interacting with others. As the supervisor, if you say, I'm going to do this, I'm going to follow through on this, I'm going to call this, or check on this, you want to make sure you do it. And so one way to help you to be impeccable with your word and to follow through on things that you say you're going to do is have to-do list. Put reminders on your phone, put reminders on your calendars, whatever is going to help you to follow through, not only at work, but in your personal life with your family and your friends. That is a great agreement. Be impeccable with your word. The next one is don't take anything personally. This one is a good one to think about, because sometimes we take things personally that's not personal. So for example, if someone is a little grouchy at work and they got a little bit of attitude, you might immediately say, they don't like me. They're not, friendly. I did something to them. It may not be that. It may be that they just left home. They got in an argument with someone, or they're tired because they have a young child that was up all night crying, upset, not feeling well. And so they got 2 hours of sleep, and there they are trying to work. So you kind of have to step back sometimes and be like, is this about me? Oh no, this isn't about me. And so that just reminds us, don't be so quick to take things personally, because oftentimes it's not personal. Then of course, the flip side to that is sometimes things are personal. So then you have to decide what you're going to do with it in that case. But oftentimes things really aren't personal. Don't make assumptions. If something is happening, don't assume the worst. One of the worst things to cripple a team is team members that assume the worst about everything and everyone. So you don't want to be that person, and you don't want to lead in that way, and you don't want to approach your team members in a way where you're just always making assumptions, and negative assumptions at that, about things that they say and they do, and your family members and friends the same thing. So don't make assumptions. Ask for clarification. If something happens, if something disrupts you or is frustrating or what have you, or even good things. Maybe something great has happened. Again, clarify, what is this about? What's happening? Don't just make assumptions and then run away and start sharing or thinking about that, meditating on thoughts based on your assumptions without getting the facts. So when you talk about 4 agreements and thriving in life, which is this whole topic, we're talking about thriving, making assumptions can really hinder that. Always do your best. Do your best. And the nice thing about this particular agreement, it reminds us that our best is not always the same from day to day. So for example, your best for one day might be 50%. Because for that day, for whatever reason, maybe you're tired. Again, maybe you had a child that was up sick, or you had something going on with your family, or you stayed up late working on a project, or whatever the case may be, your best for that particular day is 50%. So you just do your 50% best for that day and go on. So always do your best, and it changes from day to day, and that's okay. And it's okay to recognize that, okay, I'm not at 100% today, but I'm going to make the best of this 70% that I can work at for today, and give yourself a break. And then keep in mind that others, when you talk about doing your best, others are not at 100 either. So when you think about your team members, you may have certain people that are always reliable, always follow through, always, do their work. And suddenly, they have a day where they're off, or they forgot something, or they didn't follow through, or whatever. Keep in mind that their best maybe for that moment may have been, we're not always at 100. So you can give them grace just like you give yourself grace. As always, reminder that we have remote participation in all of our services at HR. We have consultations through our work-life team, our health and wellness team, our financial well-being coordinator, and our elder care. We also have counseling appointments that you can make. Right now, counseling appointments through the work-life therapists are offered via Zoom, but you can make those appointments online, and our team will be happy to assist you. Our health coaches, the same thing, they'll be happy to assist you. We have workshops and trainings via Zoom. We have meetings, and we have lots of great opportunities for you to connect remotely, no matter where you live, no matter where you work, as a member of the University of Kentucky's team. You can also reach out to us through our HR website. That is a great place to connect with our different departments. And we have quite a few. We have 7 departments, but as far as this presentation go, we're kind of focusing on the financial well-being contact, our health and wellness, our training and development, and our work-life team. So as we wrap up today, I just want to remind you that as a supervisor, you are a superstar. You are amazing. Your team depends on you. Your team needs you. And I believe in you. HR believes in you. The university believes in you. And I want to just close out with this quote that says, "Hope is the only thing stronger than fear." Have a wonderful day.